for help. No one can hear you. Help! Help! I really need to check. Yes, I must be getting simmered in a bath of microwaves right now because for no reason I'm sweating and I'm hot as hell. It's a hot flash, huh? There's no reason, man. My wife came into this room not long ago and said she was cold. And I'm the one who's always cold. Look, I dress, I wear long underwear all through the winter because I'm cold all the time. And suddenly, I'm working on this video I've been working on all day long. It's highly incriminating to the American justice system and the American system and the cowardice here, the bullying here, the cheating, the lies here that have wrecked my life. So I say I've been being hit by ultrasound and microwaves that appear to be coming from a neighbor's house just to the east of this house and another neighbor's house just to the northeast of this house. I'm 100% that these Joseph Mengele level crime bursts or streams of energy are coming from those two houses 100%. And I'm making this highly incriminating video here, and I'm quietly beginning to simmer like a pot on the stove. And I'm saying if any of you folks out there can check, it's it's like 7:18 p.m. by my wristwatch. This is the 2nd of March, 2026, and I'm located on Gatewood Terrace in Hillendale, Maryland. It shouldn't be hard to find whether there are bizarre microwaves or ultrasonic emissions passing through Gatewood Terrace. It's just a small stretch of road. It's probably less than 1/10 of a mile long. Okay, so I was thinking to myself, is there a scientific way of finding these bursts or streams of microwaves? Well, they travel in a straight line, and as far as I understand, those waves will go on forever, in eternity, right? So they may get spread out and become weaker, but with the kind of instruments we now have that can trace emissions of energy from millions of light years away, and they can pick those up, even if they started out very strong, they've traveled over millions, maybe even billions of light years, and they're still detectable. Well, if these emissions coming from the house next door or the houses next door are in a straight line and they go off into space through this house, they should be detectable from behind. You should be able to go after those and look for them out there in space with the right kind of instrument. And you'll find bizarre, peculiar, unusual microwave energy and ultrasound energy traveling in a straight line through this house at this address off into eternity. And your instruments will be able to pick that up. I'm just saying, this is a way where what I'm saying could be scientifically proved with instrumentation as it now exists. Well, that's all from me for now. I've been saying that we live in something like what I've been calling an associative structure of thought. Now, maybe it'd be better to say associative continuum of thought. This idea suggests connectivity between and among human beings that somehow goes on, whether it's by psychic energies or electromagnetic energies, I wouldn't know, but somehow there's a connectivity, and it's associative in nature. Now, I want to give an example of something that happened to me when I was around 14 years old that is full of symbolism in support of what I'm saying. One afternoon, I was out on the street in front of our house in Bethesda, Maryland, Sebago Road, and I was at play with a friend of mine, a Jewish friend, and it was just us two, and we had a football, and I was hiking the football back to him, and then running in what was called a down and out pattern, down maybe 5 yards, and then to the left. And he would pass me the ball. Okay? And we were doing that over and over up the street real quickly. I hiked, ran down, turned. He threw me the ball. I caught it. I went. I hiked it again. Hiked like a lateral type hike, not the hike you do on a tackle football team, but the kind of hikes you do in touch football where you just, the ball's like on the ground, touch the ball on the ground, and you just toss it back to the guy behind you, like you're lateraling it back to him. So I was doing that rapidly up the street, and right where we were, like on the border between my house and the house of a family who had the last name Weiner, I was running that pattern, and just as I turned to the left, my friend went, "Watch out!" And in the middle of what he was saying, I got hit by a speeding bicycle.
On either side of that.
I mean, it was a 10-speed bike, and it was racing down that hill in front of our house. Sebago Road goes on a hill from, I guess that's south of the house. The hill starts and goes down toward the north. And I got slammed by a bicycle going full speed. Well, those bicycles, I think they can go 30, 35 miles per hour. That's how fast that guy was going. And he hit me. He hit me on the side and the back. Head on, full speed. And I'm telling you, I got, oh my God, did that hurt? And I was on the ground, and I couldn't move.
He was a gunner's mate.
I was hurt so badly. Now,
at the time of World War I, and he was
as it turned out,
in China, and
a neighbor, Mr. Weiner,
apparently
the man who
one of the things that
got into a big argument with the man of the year, the man who raised me. I call him America's Man of the Year. Over the trash cans between our house and his house, okay? But it just so happened that Mr. Weiner was somehow
I haven't looked this up
outside, and he saw what happened, and he came over and picked me up in his arms,
poppy seeds or poppy plants,
and carried me up to our house and laid me inside the house there, in the vestibule there, just inside the front door.
This grandfather never even drank.
I'm not sure. I think my parents might have been on a vacation trip somewhere. But somehow, I went to the hospital. Maybe I went in an ambulance. I don't even remember now. I don't know how I got to the hospital. I don't think Mr. Weiner took me. I don't know how I got there, but I did.
So it's interesting that
I was in the emergency room, and a a nurse
filled
who
with confiscated
seemed
opium
very
ware
attractive
from
to me,
China.
although I never saw her face.
Okay,
I saw her hands and her
and those
forearms.
shells he
In her
got
white
somehow
outfit, she had a
as
beautiful
gunner's
voice,
mate
and
when
she
he was
said
in the Navy, and he saved
something like this. She said,
And
"This
after
is
he
Dr.
passed
Mealy's
away,
son.
my
You
mother
better give him
died,
some
and
morphine."
after she passed away,
Morphine, yeah, he's been badly hurt.
So
Okay,
those are poppers
so
up there.
I was in great pain from getting slammed by that bicycle, and the morphine made me feel better. And then some hospital nurse or technician spent like an hour cleaning up wounds in my forearms created somehow. I don't know how. But he was trying to get the sand out of them that was in the gutter there that I landed in when I got slammed by that bike. Now, they were puncture wounds, he said. I don't know how I got them, but anyway, what's interesting to me is that, first of all, I'm playing with my Jewish friend, right? And this friend may be the kind of Jew who is a descendant of a type of Jew called a Levite because of his last name. I don't know, because I read online that some Jews with a name similar to Levite, they're not descended from Levites, but maybe this one was. Okay? So at any rate, he was a close friend of mine. I played with him virtually every day for many years of my life, and we were in the same grade in school, same class, and we used to get the same report card every time. 4 A's and 3 B's. Now, the guy who hit me, his name was significant. His last name was Will, W-I-L-L. And I don't think I'm wrong in this. His first name was Albert, which is my first name, okay, which I never used. I went by the name of AJ, my nickname. So I'm playing with a Jewish friend, and I don't know that I have any ancestors that were Jewish. I know nothing of the kind. And I get hit out of nowhere by a guy whose name is Albert Will. Albert Will what? Become Jewish? It's a very weird type thing. He'll become Jewish. How, what, where, why? As a result of a catastrophe. Declaration that I'm crazy by America's Man of the Year. And the support he gets from the state of Maryland and others. In an absolute farce, which hit me later in life the way that bicycle hit me. Even worse. I got what you might call a poison shot. I think it was radiation poisoning. So did I get hit later because I was slowly becoming Jewish? Man, did I get hit. I got hit by this shot of radiation poisoning that propelled me into absolute agony for 2 years. Now, when I got slammed by that bicycle, the pain was immense, right? But it was alleviated when I got to the hospital by morphine. Now, when I got poisoned at the age of 28, there was no alleviation for the agony I was in. For 2 entire years, every moment of my conscious awareness was racked with unbelievable pain that no one will ever believe a person could survive, could experience and survive. When that pain was sweeping over me, I said to myself, no human being can experience this much pain and live. And yet I did live. Now, I lived, and eventually I discovered that I am of Jewish descent, and I did convert to Judaism. Now, there in that bizarre experience is an encapsulation and a symbolism in support of everything that would happen later to me in life. So I'm just baffled by that, and I'm thinking about it, and well, I can't come to any conclusions, but I made this recording to remember what happened and to go on thinking about how to explain myself to myself if that event was somehow prophetic. Let me add a little more to the symbolism of me being hit by this speeding bicycle when I was 14. I've been saying that at that age, America's Man of the Year began to sexually abuse me when I was asleep. He was male raping me in the wee hours of the night when I was asleep, coming into my locked door and applying ether to my nose and mouth somehow to make sure I did not wake up, and male raping me when he had me asleep that way. Now, because he did that, okay, there was a big unconscious argument going on between me and him over that very crime he was committing, that on some level of awareness, I might have been aware he was doing something like that. It wasn't conscious, though, but there was this animosity between him and me, okay? And that led to what? Him trying to murder me when I was 28 years old with a shot of radiation poisoning. And here's a little of the symbolism to that, okay? If you, let's say somebody shot you with a gun, okay? You might say, I got shot, okay? Now, if you were an Italian American with an Italian accent, how might that come out? It might come out like this: I got a shot, okay? Which is a different meaning, right? Now you might be saying, I got a shot, like an injection with a syringe. But you're just speaking with an Italian accent, saying, I got a shot. Now, this kind of thing is important when crimes are committed. If you go all the way back to the story of Polyphemus and the cave in the Odyssey, right? It's important that when that Cyclops asks Odysseus what his name is, Odysseus tells him that his name is Nobody, okay? And that helps Odysseus and his men escape later when Odysseus and his men have stabbed the eye of that Cyclops. Other Cyclopses come outside his cave and say, what's the matter? What happened? And he says, nobody did this to me. Nobody. And they say, oh, nobody did anything to him. And they go off. So these word plays of this kind, they turn out to be very important in human experience. And so I'm saying part of the reason is this associative continuum we live in. Now, Mr. Weiner is our next door neighbor. Weiner being what? Another word for penis. And, well, I'm 14. That sexual abuse was starting on me at that time. And somehow, Mr. Weiner, a man I rarely ever saw me get hit by that bike. And he came down. I was laying in the gutter there in pain. And he came, picked me up, and carried me from the street up the hill there in front of our house and put me inside the house and then left. Now, Mr. Weiner does that, right? Mr. Weiner is rescuing me. Well, partly. And why? Well, it's this Weiner later by the Man of the Year that's raping me at night, okay? And there's the symbolism of Mr. Weiner being involved in this, okay? The Man of the Year, America's Man of the Year, has me declared to be crazy. Why? He's afraid that what he's done to me might be coming to consciousness somehow, and that I might accuse him of abusing me this way, and if he gets caught, what happens? He goes to prison, and he's no longer America's Man of the Year, right? So, proactively, he makes sure that I get declared to be crazy before I accuse him of anything. And now he's free from any accusation, because there's not a soul on this earth who's going to believe a word out of my mouth. And that's been the case for over 40 years now. So there's some more to that symbolism of what happened that day when I was 14 and got hit head on by a speeding bicycle. Here's some more wordplay of the kind I mean when I used Odysseus calling himself nobody in that story from the Odyssey. My step-grandfather died in this bizarre accident that I always felt had to have been a murder. I heard about it when I was 7 years old, and I was deeply suspicious, and I never stopped being deeply suspicious of what happened to my step-grandfather. It appears that he was working under a car that was held up by jacks, okay? But even if it was just held up by one jack, the wordplay is present here. What is the slang term for autoerotic sex by men? You say a man jacked off, right? So this step-grandfather, he gets jacked off, doesn't he? The jacks apparently fall off wherever they're supposed to be under that car, and the car crushes him to death. He gets jacked off all right. Let's say I am a detective and I want a profile on a murderer who likes wordplay of this kind. I say, I got a shot. That's an Italian wordplay. And America's Man of the Year was of Italian descent. Now, what else do we know about America's Man of the Year? What did I say? Toward the very end of his life, he had a club tie. One of those club ties, you know, where there's a symbol repeated throughout the tie. Kind of tie a man wears around his neck with a suit. Well, the Man of the Year had a club tie, and if you look closely at what the symbols were, the symbol on that club tie was a U shape, like the capital letter U, and inside of that, crossing through it, was a screw, the kind of screw that you screw in with a screwdriver. I chillingly recall being alone at the table with America's Man of the Year, and all the horrendous abuse I was suffering and would suffer, almost to the point of being murdered by this man. I remember that one night when, alone at the table, when I'm forced to be there with him for corrections on whatever view he found of mine to be objectionable. One of those views was my support for what's now called universal health care. This made me a communist, and a threat to the world. Anyway, he was quoting to me his favorite poem at the table in the candlelight there. Oh, I am a cook and a captain bold, and the mate of the Nancy brig, and a boatswain tight, and a midshipmite, and the crew of the captain's gig.